All right, it is showtime, as StreamYard says. Welcome back to Week 8's edition of the Generational Wealth Management Extra Point Show with your host, JB Graphics, JB, Jared, Makaisa, whatever you feel like going by at this point in the year. I've gone through that every episode. But hey, thanks for tuning in to the Generational Wealth Management Extra Point Show with me. We have a lot of stuff to cover today. There was a lot of really good games across the districts. I'm looking at the Pizza Hut District 9 and 10 Football Live scoreboard for Week 8, 2022, October 14th to the 15th. And it looks like everything is final across District 9 and District 10. So we'll just kick it off with going down the score recaps. The game of the year that everyone was talking about leading into this week, you had a 7-0 Red Bank Valley versus 6-1 Port Allegheny. Port Allegheny came out on top 8-7 over Red Bank with a late touchdown in the fourth quarter, followed up by the 2-point conversion to make it 8-7. So now both teams are now 7-1 with 2 weeks left in the regular season. Also, we'll just continue going down the list. In District 9, we had Otto Eldred topping Bucktail 42-36, Union AC Valley 42-7 over Smethport, St. Mary's with a 31-0 shutout over Bradford, Brockway 41, Ridgeway 13, Brookville 34, Carn City 7, Cameron County with an upset over Elk County Catholic 28-13, Central Clarion County 45, DuBois 7, Clearfield rebounds with a 55-16 win over Bellefonte. Conemaugh Valley defeated Kerwinsville in overtime 28-27. Yeah, 28-27 in overtime. Keystone 45, Kane 13, and Punxsutawney gets a 41-0 shutout over Montauk. Moving on to our District 10 scorers, we got Cambridge Springs 35, Cochranton 6, Cathedral Prep 40, Butler 14, Maplewood 31, Kennedy Catholic 22, Mercer 15, Lakeview 13, Reynolds 78. I don't think that's a typo. So 78, Sagertown 12. That's a lot of points. Mercyhurst Prep with a 67-0 shutout over Iroquois. Seneca 40, Union City 0. Farrell 42, Sharon 14. Hickory 45, Greenville 12. Grove City 38, Sharpsville 22. Slippery Rock 34, Wilmington 6. Oil City 34, Conneaut 7. Meadville 77, Franklin 0. Warren 42, Titusville 17, Girard 30, Corey 21, General McLean 29, Fairview 15, St. Clairsville, Ohio 41, Fort LaBeouf 12, and Northeast 25, Harbor Creek 0. So we had two teams reach the 70s in District 10. So definitely a lot of offense to go around in District 10. We'll also shout out our Saturday games that we have. Tomorrow we have Coudersport at Sheffield in District 9. And in District 10, we got Eisenhower at Northwestern, West Toronto Prep at McDowell, Erie at Canisius, New York. I hope that's the right pronunciation. But that is our Pizza Hut District 9 and 10 Football Live scoreboard for Week 8. We're going to play our sponsor ads real quick, and I think Chris is in the chat. Oh, not here. Oh, okay, never mind. Chris is just here for the link. We're going to play our sponsor ads that we have, if I can find them. Where's that? There it is.
Whether retirement is just around the corner or years away, John Bongiovanni, Lucas Slazak, and Adam Jack of Generational Wealth Management in Erie and Bradford are here for you. John, a Forbes-recognized best-in-state wealth advisor, Lucas and Adam provide customized investment advisory solutions and retirement planning services. Generational Wealth Management offers world-class investment services and internationally recognized insurance products from Northwestern Mutual, an industry leader. The Generational Wealth Management team provides a high level of expertise and service to their professional and business clients. Contact the Erie office at 814-651-0838 or the Bradford office at 814-368-4065 or check them out online at gwm.nm.com.
What's the recipe for surprising the kids, treating yourself, and ditching dish duty? You're looking at it. Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
All right, those were our three big sponsors that help bring you this Extra Point show on Friday nights for 8 weeks now. I can't believe we're already in week 8 of the District 9 and 10 football season, so definitely give a big shout out to our Generational Wealth Management sponsor, John Bongiovanni, Lucas Slazak, and Adam Jack of Generational Wealth Management in Erie and Bradford are here for your investment needs. They offer world-class investment services and internationally recognized insurance products from Northwestern Mutual, an industry leader. Find out more at gwm.nm.com. We'll also shout out Warren County Visitors Bureau, Pennsylvania's all-season destination. Warren County, simple, pure, real. Also give a shout out to Pizza Hut of Clearfield, Clarion, Brookville, DuBois, St. Mary's, Grove City. No one out pizzas the Hut. Now, moving on from our sponsorship shout outs, it looks like we got Carson Neely in the works with us, so let's add him to the stream. What's going on, Carson?
Oh, not much. Just getting home from that win.
All right, yeah, let's jump right into it. Talk about the game some. I caught the fourth quarter of the game, but walk us through what happened tonight.
Yeah, well, early we were faced with some adversity. We just were coached to overcome, and I feel that the game was a really good game, and it was reached out to be the game of the year and stuff, and it was all of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I get done with work at 8:30, and the first thing I always do is just check the Pizza Hut District 9 and 10 scoreboard, and I saw it was 0-0 still in the third quarter. I'm like, wow, this is a defensive battle right here. Like, I feel like it definitely lived up to that, like everything you could ask for a game of the year candidate. And you guys came up top and you upset, I don't know if you want to call it an upset or whatever, but you definitely took down the best team in 1A, if not one of the best teams in District 9.
Yeah. Coming into the game, we obviously knew it was going to be a dogfight, in which it was, and we just knew we've been grinding since, after they beat us in the playoffs, and we just knew how bad that hurt, and we didn't want that to happen again.
Yeah, like all this whole week leading up, or even like the weeks prior to, because I've kind of been seeing like the writing on the wall. Keystones was undefeated throughout the season, then you guys were sitting there at 6-1 going into this game. What's your guys' mentality going into this week, and now that you kind of capped it off with a win, how does that feel?
Well, it feels good, but we'll live it up, celebrate a little bit, but then it's on to the next week, and we forget about what's in the past, and we just move on and be the best. Week 9 would be week 9.
Yeah.
So it'll be like best week 9 of us. So it'll be 1-0 again.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And Red Bank definitely has, you could arguably say, has one of the better high scoring offenses in District 9 also. And you guys your defense held them to 7 points tonight. What's that say about your defense this year?
Well, we got some pressure when we needed some pressure. Definitely feel like it wasn't our best game, but our DBs really stepped up and didn't allow too many big shots down the field. Yeah,
and I think Red Bank got the first initial lead, so they were up 7-0. And what's going through your guys' mind? It's like it's been 0-0, 3/4 of the game, fourth quarter, they're up 7-0 and then you guys get the ball. What's going on in your minds with that?
Just do us, just we know what our game plan was, and we executed it.
Yeah, and you kind of capped that off with, I think Chris said on the broadcast, it was like 65-yard drive to score.
Yep.
Yeah, so that definitely. Who do you feel like helped lead that charge? I know Drew Evans had a bunch of good runs and stuff, and obviously the O-line. You got to shout out those guys for possibly giving like the best one of the best run games in the district too. With you got Blaine Moses out there, you got Noah Archer, Drew Evans is running out there, so like you guys definitely have something going on the running side of the game.
Yeah, I feel like Drew, our QB4, we're running back 4, and we're just going in, and him being able to run the ball like that, and Blaine coming out, and obviously our offensive line just working hard. Miska, Braylon, Yuso, Levi, just grinding it out.
Yeah, so you go down there, you score, and it is 7-6. And obviously, with looking at the score, you guys got the 2-point conversion. But what's going on? What are you guys thinking? You're like, all right, we've seen a lot of games, whether it's like NFL, college, or even games in District 9 and 10 this year, where all right, we can win the game with the 2-point conversion, or we lose the game if we don't get it, or we can kick an extra point. So what's going on with that? Like, do you guys have a kicker at all, or was that just a situation where you had all the momentum with the run game and you just wanted to punch it in and finish it out that way? Or
yeah, we drove down the field, and we knew right then we're gonna keep pounding it.
Yeah, and that's as a fan, spectator, and I'm sure as a player too, you could probably think of this, but like, what's your thoughts on 2-point conversions, like in a situation like that late in the game where it's either you win it or you lose it? What's your take on that?
Well, yeah, we don't have a kicker as also, and so that just really sums up our answer. Just be like, all right, let's give it to our horses in the backfield and let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think having all that momentum, 65, 64-yard drive or whatever it was, and as I was watching that, I'm like, man, if that, like, they are going for 2, I figure, I kind of assumed after that timeout was called, I'm like, man, I would just keep running, I just keep feeding your backs the ball, and it looks like it worked out pretty well for you guys.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and then after that, Red Bank gets the ball, your defense has to step up, and Drew Evans really stepped up there with that basically game-sealing interception.
Yeah, he played a really great game, honestly, both sides of the ball. He was just in the right position at the right time. He did his 111th.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think he even mentioned that on his quote graphic that I got him for, being the 111th out there. So shout out to Drew Evans for the game he had. And did I read it right? Was tonight homecoming night for you guys, or what was?
No, that wasn't.
Was it senior night or?
No, it was just a home game.
I'm thinking. All right, I'm just thinking of something else. But what was the atmosphere like at that? Like after you won that game?
Yeah, we like I said, we knew it was going to be a dogfight, and we have a lot of heart, and we knew that we wanted to win that game bad, and we played for each other, and we know that like when we faced adversity, they went up 7-0. We bounced back off each other, and we just kept going.
Yeah, I think that also says a lot. I feel like this is a big statement win for you guys too. People could look at some of the teams that you play on the schedule and like, oh, that's not a big strength of schedule compared to some of the other schools out there. But like a 8-7 win over an undefeated team at home. Now you guys are kind of sitting at, all right, you have the tiebreaker over those guys there. So there's a chance you guys can potentially go into the district playoffs as the number 1 seed.
Right. Yeah. And we're just going to keep going one game at a time.
And what's that say about your school too? I know Port Allegheny has kind of had some down years in the past like decade or whatever, but like recently, like there's kind of like a little revival up there in the Gators. I know like whenever I was playing back in the day, like Port Allegheny had that state quarterfinals or semifinals run way back in the day, and now you guys are sitting here like one of the best. Like now, I guess we could say that you're arguably the best team in 1A right now.
Right. Yeah. Just hard work. When our weight room is just crazy. We just come in. We're not scared to work.
Yeah, and it seems like all that hard work's paying off for you guys, and I'm glad that you guys got that win tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so congratulations on that. Is there anyone you want to shout out in particular before we move on to the next part of the show?
Yeah, definitely my boys up front, the D-line, no linemen, and my backs making just easier on us up front. And then obviously Coach Minkowski.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, Carson, for joining the Generational Wealth Management Extra Points post-game show. Shout out for the win. Shout out to the Gators. And like I said, thanks for hopping on here and talking about the game for everyone.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Hey, have a good night, man.
You too.
All right. That was Carson Neely from Port Allegheny talking about the win. So definitely a big win for Port Allegheny. 8-7, like I said, but we'll go down through the scores one more time for anyone who's just tuning in, since we're 15 minutes into the show. So we'll do a quick little recap. We're going to mix it up. We're going to go District 10 first. 5, Cochranton 6, Cathedral Prep 40, Butler 14, Maplewood 31, Kennedy Catholic 22, Mercer 15, Lakeview 13, Reynolds 78, Sagertown 12, Mercyhurst Prep 67, Iroquois nothing, Seneca 40, Union City 0, Farrell 42, Sharon 14, Hickory 45, Greenville 12, Grove City 38, Sharpsville 22, Slippery Rock 34, Wilmington 6, Oil City 34, Conneaut 7, Meadville 77, Franklin 0, Warren 42, Titusville 17, Girard 30, Corey 21, General McLean 29, Fairview 15, St. Clairsville, Ohio 41, Fort LaBeouf 12, Northeast 25, Harbor Creek 0. Those were our District 10 scores. Moving on to District 9, we have Punxsutawney 41, Montauk 0, Keystone 45, Kane 13, Conemaugh Valley 28, Kerwinsville 27. Final in overtime, Clearfield 55, Bellefonte 16, Central Clarion County 45, DuBois 7, Cameron County 28, Elk County 13, Brookville 34, Karnes City 7, Brockway 41, Ridgeway 13, St. Mary's 31, Bradford 0, Union AC Valley 42, Smethport 7, Port Allegheny 8, Red Bank Valley 7, and Otto Eldred 42-36. That is your Pizza Hut District 9 and 10 football live scoreboard for Week 8. We're going to take a quick ad break, and we'll try to work on getting some more people on.
Whether retirement is just around the corner or years away, John Bongiovanni, Lucas Slazak, and Adam Jack of Generational Wealth Management in Erie and Bradford are here for you. John, a Forbes-recognized best-in-state wealth advisor, Lucas and Adam provide customized investment advisory solutions and retirement planning services. Generational Wealth Management offers world-class investment services and internationally recognized insurance products from Northwestern Mutual, an industry leader. The Generational Wealth Management team provides a high level of expertise and service to their professional and business clients. Contact the Erie office at 814-651-0838 or the Bradford office at 814-368-4065 or check them out online at gwm.nm.com.
What's the recipe for surprising the kids, treating yourself, and ditching dish duty? You're looking at it. Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
All right, we are back. Shout out to our sponsors, Generational Wealth Management, Oregon County Visitors Bureau, and Pizza Hut. Those are our three big sponsors. I'm working right now to try to get some more people on the show. I'm trying to I'm trying to like line it up where we can get teams that were home, because I know that we've tried getting players that are on the road and we kind of lose them halfway through. So working on some text from teams that were at least home that won, because that's kind of like our best bet to get people on. But we'll see what we can do. But yeah, lots of, like I said, lots of good stuff that we saw tonight in District 9 and District 10, especially with District 10. Definitely offense galore for everyone. I mean, we had a bunch of teams in the 40s. We had two teams in the 70s. We had one team in the 60s. Like, man, that's definitely a lot of offense going around there in District 10, and lots of shutouts too. So definitely defenses are doing pretty well. Mercer's Prep with a shutout, Seneca with a shutout, Meadville with a shutout, Northeast with a shutout, and even in District 9 too, we had a couple shutouts. St. Mary's with their 31-0 shutout over Bradford, Punxsutawney with a 41-0 shutout over Montauk. So yeah, pretty good day in District 9 and 10. Like I said, still working on trying to get someone on right now. I'll take another quick ad break while I get this message sent. Oh, all right. It looks like we have possibly Andy on. Go ahead. Oh, there. Nope, that's Chris. All right, I think we can add Andy. What's up? Maybe he wasn't ready. What's up? Anyone? Chris? Andy?
Jared, can you hear me?
Yes. I got you, Andy. I think Chris is struggling to get his mic to work, it looks like.
I'll be right.
All right, I think everyone is having some technical. Oh, Andy's gone, so see how long that lasts, I guess. Oh, Chris is gone too, so well, you got to see Chris and Andy for a second. That I'm sure they're gonna get that fixed up real quick. Hopefully. Let's go through the comments we got. All right. Dave Nee asks, do you know if Clearfield is number one in the Mountain League with the Tyrone loss tonight? That is an excellent question that I'm not 100% sure if I can answer. Let me get back to you on that comment, and I will see what I can figure out if you haven't already figured it out. So give me a minute, and I'll do some research. I'm also not 100% sure how tiebreakers work in the Mountain League, just because Clearfield is the only District 9 team in that league, so I'm not real familiar with most of the teams that are in that.
Okay, can you hear me now, Jared?
Yes, I can.
All right, hold on a second. We got some echo.
I'm echo.
I think I've done away with the echo. Can you hear me,
that's
Jared?
okay. Yes, sir. I got you.
Okay.
All
so
right, I should be better now, guys. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, you're way
All
better than last time.
All right. Sorry, I'm sitting here in Sheets in Port Allegany to try to do this for you.
Awesome.
So, yeah, go ahead, Jared.
Oh, I was going to say, so how was everyone's games tonight? I know I just talked to Carson, Chris. I know you were at the game. Like, what was your take on the game?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, you had the situation where Red Bank Valley was without some key players, including quarterback Cam Wagner and wide receiver Ashton Kale. We don't really know why. I mean, we could speculate, but we're not in the business of speculation. And all the administration from Red Bank will tell us right now is that we don't comment on medical conditions of players or disciplinary policy of players, which tells me that players were either hurt or they were being disciplined, but we don't know which. Again, I know a lot of people out there have their own theories of what went on, but as a responsible journalist, I don't have any real opinions until somebody actually will confirm. And right now, nobody in the know at Red Bank Valley, or at least in the administration down there, is talking. And all the information I have is second and third hand. And so I don't feel comfortable talking about any of that sort of stuff, other than they were without those players. And Rich Rhodes and I figured that it looked like they were missing 10 players tonight. Again, we don't know if some of those guys were hurt, some of them were being disciplined. We just don't know. But the fact is they didn't have those guys. And even without those guys, they played a heck of a football game. Give them a lot of credit. A lot of adversity, obviously, when you find out later in the week that you're not going to have some players, especially your starting quarterback. Braylon Wagner stepped in. That's Cam's younger brother. This dude's got a future, man. He can throw the football. He's going to get better. He's going to learn better decision-making at times, but he's only, a freshman, I think? He's only a freshman. He threw a pass tonight. It's one of the best passes I've ever seen a high school football quarterback throw. And that's not an understatement. It was a 90-yard touchdown pass, and the ball had to have been in the air about 50 yards at least, if not longer. And it came with 7 minutes to go in a scoreless game on 3rd down and 10 from his own 10-yard line. And it gave them a 7-0 lead. And, I remember turning to Sean Lathrop, who was doing the game to me tonight, and I was saying, man, Port Allegany kept letting them hang around. And when you do that, you could be in trouble. And all of a sudden, it looked like there was a chance for them to be in trouble. But give Port a lot of credit. They came back. The big guys up front started opening holes. Blaine Moses, Peyton Styles, Drew Evans ran the ball really hard. They went right down the field on Red Bank and scored. There was no decision to make because they haven't kicked an extra point all year. So they were gonna go for 2, and they called timeout. They called the quarterback's number, and he scored. All that being said, Red Bank had a chance. They had the ball around midfield, and Owen Klaus is a pretty good field goal kicker. I think that they needed to get the ball to about the 20-yard line or so. 20-yard line. So they were about 30 yards out of field goal range. And, they ran a play on 2nd down, and Drew Byers got dropped for a yard loss. And then on 3rd down, I thought that Braylon Wagner tried to maybe squeeze a ball into an area where maybe he shouldn't have. And Drew Evans came up with a really nice diving interception. And then all they needed to do from there was get a 1st down, and they did that. And then they kneeled down, and they celebrated, and I think rightfully so, because arguably that's Port Allegany's biggest win since, what was it, Andy, 2012 when they went to the state semifinals.
Yep, and that was a great team, and this is their best team since then, and they do it in a different way. But it's their identity, and they're having a lot of fun up there in Port this season. That's a heck of a football team.
Yeah, and it just we all went in thinking it was going to be a great football game, and then you find out that certain players aren't playing, and then you start worrying about how the outcome's going to be. But I don't think anybody watching that game, and there were a lot of people watching that game, whether live or on video, whether it was us or the Port Allegheny Sports Network who we were doing the game with. It was everybody got their money's worth, and I think both of those teams can go home and feel like, hey, nobody really lost that football game. It just somebody has to lose on the scoreboard. The only thing that could have been better is if that game had gone to overtime, tied at 0.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, guys, I got to get back to work here. Already looking at a late night, so I'll let you guys take rest.
All right, Chris. Say safe travels, man.
Yeah, and have fun, Chris, on your drive home. I know how fun those trips are. I think we lost him.
Yep. I think that's it for Chris. And
yeah,
well, Jared. Yep.
No,
there we go.
We'll take care of that.
Talk about a unique situation, really, where Red Bank Valley finds out they're going to be out a bunch of players, including your starting quarterback, and you have freshmen step in. They were still almost able to win the football game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in what a lot of people considered, was the game of the year in District 9 to this point. And despite all that we found out before the game, it kind of lived up to the billing.
Yeah, I definitely. I didn't know about that the guys were missing until I saw it in the broadcast and found out after the fact. But I think that just shows how good Red Bank's depth is the whole way throughout their program. I mean, if you have like 10 guys out, whether they're starters or, everyone's a key part of the team, whether it's in scout team or whatever during practice throughout the week. And the fact that those guys who got replaced, you have a freshman quarterback back out there getting thrown into on the road, getting thrown into a game where you're undefeated, you're playing a 6-1 team. And he, like Chris said, he got the lead for them, and then they ended up losing that. But still, like the fact that your first ever start, you're in a dogfight with one of the top, like you're playing one of the top teams in District 9. I think, like I said, I think that definitely shows a lot about Red Bank's depth throughout their program.
Yeah, and not to switch gears on you, but the game Brian Hagberg and I called, Warren Titusville. That was Warren 42, Titusville 17. Warren with its 5th win, which marks the 5th year in a row they've won at least 5 games. Jared, there were touchdowns in this game of 80, 69, 25, 21, 80, 28, and 49 yards. And there's Brian, and he can attest to this. And it was just a game full of big plays, and man, was it fun to watch.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was fun to call too. I mean, that whole first half just seemed like it was both teams trading big play after big play, landing, like describing like a heavyweight fight, just landing body blow after body blow, and then all of a sudden the haymaker would come, and again that was a 7-point game at the half, and Titusville had closed it to within 4 after the opening possession of the second half, and then all of a sudden Warren just clamped things down, scored 21 unanswered, and goes on to a big win.
Yeah, and really was the kind of 3-headed monster there. Nyquist, running back, Eric Dipple, quarterback, and Caden Wright, receiver. Tommy accounted for 4 touchdowns, over 200 yards rushing, 80-yard touchdown reception, 69-yard touchdown rush. Caden Wright had an 80-yard touchdown reception, a 49-yard touchdown reception. Dipple over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Jared, if you'll look in there, I got an interview with those 3. If you can find that in there.
Oh, let me see. The Wright Nyquist Dippled one you said?
That's it. That's the one.
All right, let's play that.
Here with the guys that made all the explosive plays on offense for Warren tonight in their 42-17 win over Titusville. Guys, first of all, congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much.
A lot of long touchdowns tonight. What makes this offense so explosive?
Well, tonight the line was incredible. I mean, they held their blocks, staying in the blocks. They did everything that we need to do. I mean, we have the easy part. We just kind of run, we throw, we catch. I mean, they're the ones up front doing everything they need to do. So
we had the right play calls in the right situations that led to those big plays. Yeah, and like Tommy said, the line gave us the time to do what we had to do to get the win.
How have you, speaking of that line, how have you seen those guys, continue to just get better as the season's gone along?
We've had a lot of changes with our line, and big guys have stepped up to the plate and done a great job.
Improvement is insane. From where we started and where we are now is a big difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Because of hard work and concentration.
You guys come out and get the big stop to start the second half. Well, they got a field goal, but then you get a big stop, and at that point, it's only a 4-point game. So, how critical is that?
That was huge. It was a very big stop. It was definitely a momentum changer because we get the ball and then we go and score, and then now we're up 2 scores, get another stop, score. So definitely a momentum changer.
Caden, take me through your 80-yarder there. It seemed like your quarterback put it up there for you, and you were able to go up and get it, and then the rest was history.
Yeah, I was kind of frustrated with the first couple incomplete passes I had, and I just felt like I had to bounce back and make some plays to help the team win. So, but it was a great throw, great protection by the line. So.
And I thought you gave them a lot of different looks tonight. How much do you think that contributes to your success?
Different looks definitely help because the way we set up kind of different set of defenders set up, so it's different for them and it's hard for them to change.
Yeah, we prepared very well for this game with a lot of different formations that we knew would work with them. It's good preparation.
And just how much fun was it to come out and put on this kind of performance in the homecoming game?
It was special. Definitely a moment that we're all going to remember.
Yeah, for my senior year, I wouldn't have asked for a better game. Yeah.
All right, guys, your 5th win of the season. How do you feel like, I guess lastly, just how do you feel like you've improved collectively as a team as the season's gone on?
I think the team chemistry has been great. It just keeps getting better and better, and now we're just going to keep working even harder to keep the momentum going and get ready to face Meadville next week. So.
All right, guys. Well, great job tonight. Congrats on the win.
Awesome.
Yeah, and one of the things I loved about that, Tommy Nyquist, the first thing he said when he talked about their offensive effort was he credited the offensive line, and that's an offensive line that's been banged up with injuries this year, and I thought they did a really good job tonight. Again, kind of allowing those explosive plays to happen.
Yeah, it definitely didn't seem like Eric Dippold was under much pressure at all when he did drop back to pass tonight. Had all kinds of time to throw and gave those receivers time to get open. And once Caden Wright or Tommy Nyquist gets a step on a defender, if Dippold's able to put that pass on the money, it's going to go for a long ways most of the time.
Yeah, and just to illustrate the big plays, Dippold 8 completions for 232 yards. Nyquist 12 carries for 202 yards. Wright 4 receptions, 138 yards. Just a ton of big plays tonight.
Jared, you were talking about being impressed with the freshman quarterback over at Red Bank tonight. I was thoroughly impressed, Andy, with the sophomore quarterback for Titusville. It was his 3rd start, but they've definitely got a bright future, at least at the quarterback spot, with Ian McDonald at the helm. Did a lot of really nice things, especially throwing on the run. He was under pressure quite a bit from that Warren defensive front and made some really nice throws and did some good things to get away with that. And, with experience and some of that wisdom that comes with those game reps, he's going to be a big weapon for the Rockets down the road.
Absolutely. Again, that's a young football team. It's kind of seen as a rebuild there in Titusville. They haven't had a lot of success in recent years, but there's definitely a lot to look forward to there with the Titusville Rockets program there. Do we have someone in the comments there a player trying to jump on? Maybe needs a link.
Oh yeah, I got that taken care of.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah. You guys were also talking about explosive plays and stuff, but I kind of mentioned it at the beginning of the show. District 10 really blew up with offense today. We got 2 teams in the 70s tonight. We had a bunch of teams in the 40s. The big one is the Reynolds 78, Segerstown 12, and Meadville 77, Franklin nothing. You guys hear anything about how that game went, or did those scores kind of surprise you at all, or what are your thoughts on those?
Not really. You heard Tommy Nyquist talk about there for Warren. They have Meadville next week, and Meadville, to put it simply, they're one of the best teams in District 10. I think they came out a little irritated this week. McDowell handed them their first loss of the season last week, and they came out and really, I think, did what people expected them to do. I think that's their 4th shutout this year, I think when people focus on Meadville, they tend to focus on that rushing attack, that line, and they have that two-headed monster with Kalon Simmons and Brady Walker. But that defense, and again, they had to be, and again, going against 6A McDowell last week, giving up 49 points, but again, pitching another shutout this week. They're back to doing what they do, and it's interesting with it's just them. And Corey in 4A and District 10 this year, I think pretty much everyone expects Meadville to take that. And it's really a question of what can they do beyond that, because this was a team that was a state quarterfinalist a year ago. And I think the expectations are there for them to get to that point again this year. That's really a really, really solid football team.
Yeah, I'm not sure I really have much to add to that. I mean, Meadville has been as advertised. Just looking to see about some stats on that, but I mean, you look at according to the Meadville Trib, Kalon Simmons first play from scrimmage, 78-yard touchdown. I mean, that's just what Meadville's been able to do all season long to pretty much everybody. Those big explosive plays, they can seemingly score at will. Again, minus a game against 6A McDowell, but the Bulldogs have done what they needed to do, and really, like I said, have been as advertised, and certainly look like a dangerous team in 4A.
Yeah, and it's amazing. They always have great lines, great running backs. Of course, going former Penn State star Journey Brown, guys like Isaiah Manning. And now with Simmons and Walker, they just churn it. It's a running back factory there at Meadville.
Yeah, and before we move on we have a guest waiting, were there any other games in District 10 that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, I'll jump in on one just real quick. Mercer 15, Lakeview 13. Mercer gets a late interception to seal that win. That's their 6th win of the season. They're going to be a playoff team in 1A. Really a nice season for the Mustangs there. And what just looking at might have been the game of the night. In District 10, and that's a program that, again, Mercer County football, that's kind of a different animal. It's typically, the class of District 10, and, Mercer's taken their lumps in recent years, but that's a really quality football team they have there, and a nice win for them tonight.
Any games that stood out to you, Brian, before we get our guest on?
I think just looking at Grove City, Sharpsville. I think especially just the way that the Eagles were able to jump out to a big lead in that game. Obviously Sharpsville coming off the disappointing loss against Farrell a week ago, which again, that's just the way things are going to be for a lot of these teams right now against the Steelers. But you thought maybe they'd have a bounce back here against Grove City, but the Eagles come out and kind of showing everybody, hey, look, we're the defending 3A champs for a reason, and we're going to show everybody why that is, and they certainly did that tonight.
All right, let's play a quick our generational wealth management ad, and we got a Brockway Rover that we'll add on to the show after it.
Whether retirement is just around the corner or years away, John Bongiovanni, Lucas Slazak, and Adam Jack of Generational Wealth Management in Erie and Bradford are here for you. John, a Forbes-recognized best-in-state wealth advisor, Lucas and Adam provide customized investment advisory solutions and retirement planning services. Generational Wealth Management offers world-class investment services and internationally recognized insurance products from Northwestern Mutual, an industry leader. The Generational Wealth Management team provides a high level of expertise and service to their professional and business clients. Contact the Erie office at 814-651-0838 or the Bradford office at 814-368-4065 or check them out online at gwm.nm.com.
All right, so joining us next, we got Brockway Rover Reese Yonner. What's going on, Reese?
What's going on?
How's your game tonight? What's going?
It was pretty good. Clinched playoff spot for the first time, I think, 4 years. So really feeling good about that.
All right. Let me know if I'm wrong on this, but was the game tied 13-13 at halftime?
Yeah, it was.
All right. So what happened here in the second half? 28 unanswered points in the second half for you guys?
Yeah, Honestly, we knew we were getting the ball at half. We just want to do what we do best is run the ball with our. I think we have the best O-line in D9. We're just gonna run it down their throats, and we did.
Yeah, that's really different from Brockway. I'm used to the air raid attack from Brockway, and if you run game works, it works. And obviously, you kind of gave that showed Ridgeway that. But what was kind of the big difference from the first half to the second half? Like, did you guys just get off to a slow start, not get off the bus, or?
I wouldn't say we didn't get off the bus. Just defense. We had a couple minor mistakes. That up. Scoreboard showed for it too.
Mm-hmm. What was Coach Heigl's message at halftime to kind of motivate you guys?
Just like we said, we're just two bad plays. We just knew that we were better.
Yeah, and Brock, I was at your game against Port that didn't really go your way, but now you're kind of back on the horse, back to back. We won last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, back to back wins now for you guys, kind of getting some late season momentum. And so, like, what's that been like?
Honestly, after that Port Allegheny game, we just really came back together, had a couple team discussions, came back, won 3 straight, and we're just going from there, taking it game by game.
Yeah, and I guess while you kind of brought this up, it looks like your next game is against a team that just lost to Port Allegheny also.
Yeah, this one was really on my schedule because since my freshman year, we never get one I'm really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty good game for you guys. You get to go on the road again against a team that's probably going to be hungry for revenge from last week, from their loss this week. So, what's your thoughts heading into that game?
Honestly, just everyone do their 111 plays football.
All right. Well, hey Reese, thanks for hopping on and talking to us a little bit about the game. Good luck the rest of the season, and good luck, I guess, since you clinched the playoff spot. Good luck in playoffs.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Reese. All right, that was our Reese Yonner from Brockway. Big win over. I guess it'd be a bigger win against Ridgeway. I mean, like I said in the interview, 28 unanswered points in the second half by Brockway. That's definitely a big switch from a 13-13 tied game at halftime.
Yeah, and I've gotten to see that Brockway team a few times this season. Most recently, when they beat Smethport 41-6, it started this 3-game winning streak. And the biggest difference I noticed with them from early in the season until now, and Reese touched on it, is the evolution of their running game. And you heard him say it. They have a ton of confidence. He feels they have the best offensive line, District 9. And the way they've been running the ball the past few weeks, it's hard to argue with them. And that's really, you knew the passing game was going to be there, but the evolution of that running game with Jendi Coelho at running back and that offensive line really gives this Brockway team, another dimension, as he said, as they look forward to the postseason. And again, defensively, too, during this 3-game winning streak, they're giving up 6, 20, and 13 points in those 3 wins. So you run the ball, you play good defense as we get into mid to late October here. That's a recipe for success.
Yeah, and I think those back-to-back losses they had with Union and Port Allegheny, like in the middle of the season, I think that really kind of helped motivate them a little bit moving forward. And I think that they got a bunch of momentum going with them for next week's game against Red Bank.
Yeah, and who knows what that Red Bank team is going to look like. Of course, there's a situation. We know they had a bunch of guys who didn't play tonight. What happens next week, we don't know. But one thing's for certain, this Brockway team's going to come in to face them with a ton of confidence, as they should, winning 3 in a row, and they're I think right where they want to be at this point in the season.
Yeah, and if Cam Wagner's little brother is playing starting quarterback next year, we could possibly see a future little rivalry we got with 2 young quarterbacks. It's Braden Fox is only a sophomore.
Yeah, I'll never forget Braden Fox. Of course, played a pivotal role in that DuBois Central Catholic run to the state baseball championship. But what a freshman year he had. He steps in as a freshman quarterback, and I covered his first start last year. And the biggest thing that stood out to me is he didn't look overwhelmed. A freshman in varsity football, first game, you think the moment might be too big for him. It wasn't, and he's just continued to get better and better. And you've seen his development as a quarterback, and I think you're going to continue, to see that. It reminded me of the Elder Krug when I saw his first start as a freshman against Warren. I think it was 5-6 years ago now. But same sort of deal. That's not an easy thing to do as a ninth grader to take command of a varsity football team. But we've seen it from a number of guys now in District 9.
Yeah. What else? What other games were there in District 9? Were there any District 9 games that you saw that kind of stood out? I guess we could also touch on the Cameron County upset over Elk County Catholic, 28-13.
Yeah, that one stood out. I'll tell you. The other one that stood out to me was Brookville 34, Karn City 7. That's a Raider team that dealt with a lot of adversity, again, losing their starting quarterback early in the season. And they've battled back, and that's a huge win for them tonight.
Yeah, I think, what is that? Is that their third straight win or something like that? I don't remember what the stat I read was. Yeah, they won. They've won 4 of their last 5, I guess, now.
And Jared, I don't want to throw this one at you, man, but your Kerwinsville Golden Tide there dropping a tough one in overtime tonight.
Yeah, against a 1-5 Conemaugh Valley team at home. Yeah. That does kind of suck because all the seniors there, the seniors now was my junior high team that I had a couple years ago, and I kind of hate to see that they'll drop their last 2 home games of their varsity careers. So that kind of sucks hate it for those guys, but I don't know what's been up with them lately. They started off pretty good, and I feel bad now because I was telling everyone they might be a sneaky playoff type of team, but now it's kind of looking like they're not even going to be in the discussion anymore, especially with Otto getting a win and Coudersport possibly getting a win tomorrow. So I think their chances of even making playoffs are probably not happening.
Well, and how about the Otto Bucktail game? I think much more competitive than a lot of people thought that was going to be going in. I mean, at one point, Andy, I know we were looking at the scoreboard, and Bucktail had the lead over Otto.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too.
But obviously, the Terrors come back and get a 6-point win over the Bucks. Just again proves that in high school football, you just never know. One week to the next, what may look like a solid win going in for a team may not be as easy as I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to change gears with you. We have someone, Jared?
No, you're good. Go ahead. Go ahead with what you're going to do.
No, switching gears back over to District 10 and what continues to be a story, not just in District 10, but regionally, and it's even been picked up nationally. Oil City's Ethan Knox, 6th game of the season, over 400 yards rushing tonight, 429 yards on 50 carries and 4 touchdowns. 50 carries and 4 touchdowns as Oil City defeats Connie at 34-7. I believe he's just something like 75 odd yards shy of the school single season record now through 8 games. Again, I hate to understate what he's doing because we've talked about it and wrote about it so much. But this kid's, I think I'll have to double check the numbers, but I think that puts him almost at 3,000 yards right on the dot through 8 games. Truly just remarkable. Max Preps reported earlier in the week that he became unofficially, we don't know this for sure, but per their research, the first running back in a high school football history to have 5 games of at least 400 yards rushing in a season, breaking a tie with, of course, Tennessee Titan star Derrick Henry when he was at Yulee High School in Florida, who had 4 such games his senior season. So just remarkable stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if has he gotten any college offers or anything? Or
well, I'll tell you what. It's funny you mentioned that. The numbers have certainly warranted attention. Nothing. Division I wise. I know there's been some interest. Some schools have started sniffing around a little bit. So we'll see what comes of that. when we had our buddy Joe Lednowski on a couple weeks ago, he gets to see Ethan quite a bit, and and Brian can attest to this too. He's got good size, tall for a running back, about 6'1", tall running back, got good size to him, good burst. And Joe seemed to think it was funny that he'd almost be better on the defensive side of the ball at the next level. I think he had his 4th interception of the season on defense tonight as well. So, definitely something to keep an eye on going forward.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody's talking about everything that he's doing, running the ball, but he's also one of the Oilers' leading tacklers on the season too.
Yeah.
So it's, again, then using that speed to go sideline to sideline as a linebacker on defense, makes him, he's certainly not a one-dimensional player by any means.
Yeah, that kind of sucks for me that I won't actually get to see him play, since that's kind of like out of the way for me. But that'd be kind of cool to see what all the hoopla is about that. And I guess to kind of wrap up the show here too, we have a couple D9 and 10 games in Saturday actions. In District 9, the lone game we got is Coudersport at Sheffield. District 10, we have Eisenhower at Northwestern, which you can watch live on D9 and 10 Sports, and West Toronto Prep at McDowell, and Erie at can you pronounce that for me? Canisius. Yeah.
Yep.
That's not what I said earlier, but
and Brian, if you want to touch on that one real quick, Brian and Cody Elms will be in Albion, PA for that showdown between Eisenhower and Northwestern.
Yeah, it should. We're anticipating an absolutely fantastic ball game tomorrow night. Really, Eisenhower comes into this game 7-0, Northwestern 5-2. Wildcats really been on a run since that upset over Oil City a couple of weeks ago, and could really throw a monkey wrench into the Region 2 standings if they're able to hold serve on their home field and knock Eisenhower from the ranks of the NBA. Well, rank. They are the lone remaining undefeated team in District 10. On the flip side, though, Eisenhower's got a chance to really, put a stranglehold on the Region 2 title. They got one more after tomorrow night at Iroquois. But a win over Northwestern would give Northwestern 2 losses in region. They dropped one earlier in the year to Mercyhurst Prep. And Eisenhower already with a win over the Lakers a couple of weeks ago, again, would need to just go into Iroquois, come away with a win to win the region title outright. Could clinch a share of it tomorrow night with a win there, and probably again with a win over Northwestern, I would think they would almost assuredly lock up one of the top 2 seeds in the District 10 Class 1A playoffs.
What time is that game for everyone who wants to watch live? Or
kickoff is at 7:00. We'll be going on the air at approximately 6:40 with the pregame show.
All right. And Andy, are you not going to the Coudersport Sheffield game, or?
I don't know. We'll see. I don't expect that. I expect Cowdy to kind of hold serve there. It's funny. We talked about that. It's been an interesting season for Coudersport, right? They gave up 70 points to Brockway one week, then back-to-back shutouts the next 2 weeks. So that's an interesting football team. Of course, Sheffield have been well documented. Had their struggles, but yeah, it's an afternoon kickoff there on Wolverine Mountain. For my money, one of the best views, if not the best view to watch a football game in District 9.
It's also one of the longest walks from the locker room to the field.
It sure is.
Probably easily the most strenuous walk from the locker room to the field too. Going up all those stairs to get up on the Wolverine Mountain.
Yeah, it's definitely a hike, but I will agree it definitely is one of the best views. That and Smethport, I really like the views at Smethport.
Yep. Smethport's very nice.
But let's play a couple ads that we have, and then we'll kind of wrap up the show and call it week 8.
Whether retirement is just around the corner or years away, John Bongiovanni, Lucas Slazak, and Adam Jack of Generational Wealth Management in Erie and Bradford are here for you. John, a Forbes-recognized best-in-state wealth advisor, Lucas and Adam provide customized investment advisory solutions and retirement planning services. Generational Wealth Management offers world-class investment services and internationally recognized insurance products from Northwestern Mutual, an industry leader. The Generational Wealth Management team provides a high level of expertise and service to their professional and business clients. Contact the Erie office at 814-651-0838 or the Bradford office at 814-368-4065 or check them out online at gwm.nm.com.
What's the recipe for surprising the kids, treating yourself, and ditching dish duty? You're looking at it. Order your Pizza Hut faves like original pan, original stuffed crust, and more at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
All right, those are big sponsors: Generational Wealth Management, Warren County Visitors Bureau, and Pizza Hut of Clearfield, Clarion, Brookville, DuBois, St. Mary's, Grove City. No one out-pizzas the Hut. I don't think we can thank our sponsors enough for sponsoring this show and bringing this Extra Point show every Friday night for 8 weeks, and we only have a couple more weeks left of the season. But I just want to give another shout out to all of our sponsors to help us with this.
Yep, I feel like I say
for the regular season, Jared. Regular
season. But guys, I feel like I say it every year. It's just amazing how fast the seasons seem to go, and I think as I get older, they go even quicker.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I mean, I just remember us talking about the week 1 jitters and stuff, and like here we are in the cold of mid-October with playoffs on the horizon already.
Yeah, and again, before we wrap up, just a couple of quick things I want to go over in District 10 real quick. General McLean, 29-15 over Fairview, 7th win in a row for the Lancers since the season opening loss to Slippery Rock. I think that wrapped up the Region 5 title for them, as did Farrell in Region 3 with their 42-14 win over Sharon in the Steel Bowl there. Down there at Sharon this evening. So just a couple of housekeeping items there in District 10. 2 teams playing really good football.
And the Lancers doing it kind of under the radar. I mean, nobody's really talked about them much as the season has gone on. Again, it's so much of the attention, and rightfully so, in District 10 being paid both to Ethan Knox individually and to Farrell and Sharpsville, what they have done as teams. But the Lancers, like you said, Andy, 7 straight wins. Seems like they're just kind of flying under the radar. They may be one of those teams that comes into the playoffs and sneaks up on some people.
Yeah, and again, first-year head coach Marshall McCormick. I saw them when they beat Fort LaBeouf back in I believe it was week 2. They're not flashy. They're just a smash mouth football team. They play really good defense. They love to run the ball. They have a lot of different guys that can beat you in the run game. They'll mix in the pass here and there, but just a really, really solid football team.
All right. Any final thoughts by you guys before we read the scores out for everyone?
Yeah. Again, nothing. Outside that Port Red Bank game. Just again looking across District 9, that Brookville is a big win for them. Cameron County as well. Central Clarion, man, they just keep rolling. That's not a bad DuBois football team, and they were, what was it, 34-0 at halftime. So it was. I mean, that game was not close. I mean, that Central Clarion team, man, they're looking like a juggernaut. I mean, they have all year, but that's just there's been really no hiccups with them.
Mm-hmm. I think I guess we can even look ahead too if we get a healthy Red Bank team. I know that's a big Week 10 showdown that could be a really nice way to cap off this regular season in District 9.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the selection committee is going to have a tough time, I think, in both districts. But you look at, especially in Class 3A in District 10, that first team out, I think, is at this point, with the way Hickory's playing, with the way Warren's been playing the last couple of weeks, they're going to have an argument for why they should have been included, regardless of who that last team out is. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that 3A playoff picture shakes out here in the next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even the 3A in District 9 too, that with Punxsutawney continuing to win and looking at the schedule that they have to finish out the season, there's a good chance we actually might see all three 3A teams in the playoffs with St. Mary's, Clearfield, and Punxsutawney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Good, and I'm glad you brought up Punxsutawney, Jared, because that's a team that in a program that's much improved from where they were a year ago. So credit to the Chucks, and as you said, three solid teams there in 3A and District 9. Boy, 3A kind of seems to be the class maybe in both districts. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, especially since it seems like it's always like Clearfield, St. Mary's for the past however many years, but now we got Punxsutawney kind of in the picture now. And with Clearfield, I think they have the same record as St. Mary's too. So like depending on how the end of their season goes or whatever, we could see a St. Mary's with a bye and a Clearfield versus Punxsutawney semifinal game, or I don't know what will happen with that. So that's something definitely to keep an eye on with 3A, and definitely don't sleep on the Chucks, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that's our Week 8 show. We're going to get into the last part where I'm going to read out the scores for everyone. And hopefully I can get the last part. I've been practicing this, Brian, so I don't mess this.
We need to find a little timer clock that we can put in the corner here for you. See how fast you can get through all these scores.
Yeah, I know. I wish they had that. And let's go with the night driving. All right, you have been watching the Generational Wealth Management Extra Point Show with JB Graphics on the YDL Sports Network. We'll start off with District 9. We got Otto Eldred 42, Bucktail 36, Port Allegheny 8, Red Pang Valley 7, Union AC Valley 42, Smethport 7, St. Mary's 31, Bradford 0, Brockway 41, Ridgeway 13, Brookville 34, Karn City 7, Cameron County 28, Elk County Catholic 13, Central Clarion County 45, Du Bois 7, Clearfield 55, Bellefonte 16, Conemaugh Valley 28, Kerwinsville 27, Overtime, Keystone 45, Kane 13, Punxsutawney 41, Montauk 0. In District 10, we have Cambridge Springs 35, Cochranton 6, Cathedral Prep 40, Butler 14, Maplewood 31, Kennedy Catholic 22, Mercer 15, Lakeview 13, Reynolds 78, Sagerstown 12, Mercer's Prep 67, Iroquois 0, Seneca 40, Union City 0, Farrell 42, Sharon 14, Hickory 45, Greenville 12, Grove City 38, Sharpsville 22, Slippery Rock 34, Wilmington 6, Oil City 34, Conneaut 7, Meadville 77, Franklin 0, Warren 42, Titusville 17, Girard 30, Corey 21, General McLean 29, Fairview 15, St. Clairsville, Ohio 41, Fort LaBeouf 12, Northeast 25, Harbor Creek 0. Saturday in District 9, we have Coudersport at Sheffield, and in District 10, we got Eisenhower at Northwestern, West Toronto Prep at McDowell, Erie at Canisius. That is...
All right, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was our Pizza Hut District 9 and 10 scoreboard. That is it for the Generational Wealth Management Extra Point Show with JB Graphics on the YDL Sports Network. We are signing off. Thanks for listening to us. Shout out all of our sponsors. Shout out Brian, and shout out Candy, and shout out Chris, and hopefully he has a fun trip in the woods back home to Clarion.
Good night, guys.
All right. Night.